welcome to the YMC Facebook Live. I'm Erica M. and my troublemaking partner over here, I'm warning you now,
Always,
she is trouble. This is Jeni Marinucci, who is editor-in-chief at YMC. I'm the founder of YMC and a troubled mother of 2 teens.
Is there any other way of describing a mother of teens?
And Jeni is equally troubled mother of 2 teens.
Yep.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and same as you. I was just thinking both with one boy, one girl.
Yeah,
but
the opposite.
Yeah.
So we both have millionaires' families.
Yes, we do.
And
you get the true millionaire. You get the boy and then the daughter. I had the daughter and then the son.
Oh, I disagree with that. Actually, as a feminist, I would say it would be the opposite, but just saying.
She was the easier baby. I will give her that.
Our discussion today is an important one, especially for parents of teens and preteens, because there is a scourge happening amongst young people today, and that's the problem with vaping. And this is a discussion that I've been waiting to have, and I know Jeni has been also dealing with this in her home. I've been dealing with this in my home, and we want to share some stories with you, and we also want to hear your stories. We also want to thank our partner in this. So we're working with the Government of Canada. How awesome that they
right
are,
to the top. I love it. It's important, and they're doing something about it.
So Healthy Canadians are is the place on the interwebs where they discuss healthy living, and this is a concern. And clearly, this is a concern going right up from the top. In fact, I was really pleased to get an email from Senator Colin Deacon. Senator Colin Deacon is a senator based in Halifax, and he follows me on Twitter, and he knows about the work that we've done with It Doesn't Have to Hurt, which is a health-related project that YMC has done in conjunction with pediatric pain researchers. And so he understands the power of social media. I sent out a tweet about this scourge of vaping in teens, and he emailed me and said that this is actually, in fact, a huge concern for him. And also Chantal Petitclerc and Judith Seidman, who are both senators. And in fact, he said to me that he is personally upset when he learned that many of the flavors used in vaping are not approved for inhalation, only for ingestion, and that it can lead to serious respiratory illness. So I'm bringing that up because clearly this is a concern not just amongst parents, but within our government as well. So we want to have this conversation here on the Facebook page, on the YMC Teen Facebook page, which you should be following, by the way. If you have teens, please visit the YMC Teen page. And so we want to have a conversation.
And I love that if you go on social and you search the hashtag vaping info, you can follow that conversation that you had and other conversations that will stem not only from what we've put out there already and what Health Canada is doing, but we can start separate conversations about specific things related to vaping with that hashtag. So it's hashtag vaping info.
And what we want to do today is talk about what we've learned, both as parents, also working with Healthy Canadians, because they have shared a lot of really useful information that we want to pass on to you. But I also think that this is a great opportunity for you as parents to leave comments in the comment section for the government, because they're participating in today's Facebook Live conversation. They need to hear what you're dealing with as parents for them to start the ball, or to continue the ball moving, to help protect us and our teens. So this is a two-way conversation today, and I'll try not to do all the talking, Jeni.
No, I'm happy to just I'm happy to just throw in, but no, I think that is wonderful that they are monitoring and reading it and are a huge part of this, so that they can see exactly what it is that parents are asking for, what they're seeing in their own teenagers and children, so that they can address those things specifically. I think that's fabulous.
I'm going to start the ball rolling here with a comment that was left in the YMC Teen Facebook page. And this was from Paula and Caroline, both left similar comments. about the challenges that they're having right now with teens that they're aware of, which is now, because vaping is so prevalent in schools, and a vape, which is small. They're like the size of like flash drives. I mean, have you guys seen what a vape looks like? They're, you can think there's e-cigarettes, which are longer, but the kids are using these smaller ones that they can hide anywhere. So what's happening is in schools, high schools, middle schools, is that kids are vaping and they're blowing the smoke into their hoodies and their backpacks. So there is one school that has banned backpacks in the library. Like, I mean, that is insane.
No, and I feel for the kids who need those back. Like, I'm thinking, it just draws up all these other questions that because of vaping, these kids are no longer allowed to use backpacks. What about the kids who aren't vaping, who need those backpacks to carry things that they need to carry around?
I don't think that the school is doing anything wrong.
No, I don't either. I'm saying, but it's people who vape it now, it's rippling through to people who it shouldn't be affecting negatively, and now it is.
Okay, so let's talk statistics. So one of the statistics that I read is from 2016-2017, that 23% of preteens and teens have tried e-cigarettes or vapes at some point. Now, to me, that is extraordinarily low. As a mother of a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old, I would say that number is significantly higher. And
I feel like 23% are the ones who actually said yes. I feel like there's often some, like I'm so cynical. I'm like, I feel like that number's higher.
Well, yeah, it's like
I feel like it's like a way higher based on my own small bit of experience when I pool. Because I do not have a fear of asking my children's friends, do you vape? What do you?
Well, they're not going to say yes.
Well, you know what, though, Erica? They will. They don't hold back. And if I were to look at that number, some of them are like, no, you can tell.
My daughter says
number
no.
I feel is higher.
My daughter says no.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you know,
my mom knows, right?
I know that is not actually true. I don't want to tell tales out of school.
Yeah, it's hard. You want to share the information so people understand that you know what, you're not alone if you are dealing with this. You certainly are not alone. We know that at least 23% of kids have said yes. So that's a quarter of all parents for sure are dealing with this.
Here's the thing. If you have a kid who is at least 11 years old up to 20, not only should you be listening very carefully to this, but I would love for you to share this either now or later with your friends, because parents need to get hip to what's going on. And if you think your kid isn't vaping, you will be, you're not, you've got your head in the sand. That's the reality.
It definitely needs to be talked about.
Well, they're so small, they can hide them everywhere. And here's the thing, now, I don't know about you, but when I was driving here to meet Jenny, I noticed that in Toronto, on a main thoroughfare, so on the Gardiner, there's a huge billboard for vapes. Huge. And then you were mentioning that you're seeing
the corner store. It's just, and the way it's marketed. It's there's a lot of posters. There's a lot of signage. Put it this way: it would be very difficult for a teen not to see this stuff in their community. If it's on a billboard, they're seeing it on transport or in a car. So they're seeing it. It's out there. They're clearly trying it. We know what the statistics say, and you and I personally suspect that number to be higher, but we do know that based on polling, it is at least 23%. And I think, and I know we had questions from the community about this, for someone who came up in a time where, what was it, like it didn't exist, what is vaping? Like what?
Okay, so I actually have like the technical description. Vaping is the act of inhaling and exhaling an aerosol product produced by a vaping product such as an electronic cigarette, an e-cigarette, a vape. So basically it's vapor that is being inhaled.
But not just water vapor, there's additives.
That's the thing. So first of all, just inhaling that vapor from a metal apparatus is immediately putting really dangerous metals into the body. Now, can I give you any specific health research? No, because this is a relatively new product, and so there hasn't been accurate research done. But first of all, the majority of vape juice has nicotine in it right away. So
and we do know what nicotine does to the
it's
body.
addictive. That's a fact, and it also can affect a teen's brain. So number one,
Yeah, and their brains need all the help they can get. Let me just say, I have two of them.
Right.
So not a good idea.
No, and they can get addicted. And when I spoke to my daughter, she's like, I am not going to get addicted because it's just a little bit. And then I was thinking, well, how much do you actually know? When these kids who are vaping, do they actually understand that there is a range of percentages? Because just before I walked in here, I went on the main street here. There's a vaping store. So I went in and I was like a detective. I wore my dark shades so they wouldn't know who I was.
Erica's got the fake mustache on.
And I was saying, so, what percentage of this juice is nicotine free? She said, well, in every flavor, including all the candy flavored vapes, there is a 0% nicotine, and it goes up to 12%. Now, I would guess that a kid who is over 19, because you need to be over 19, is not asking what percent vape juice is that. They're not informed, nor do they care. So the kids who are sharing each other's vapes are definitely ingesting nicotine. It's a problem. It's an actual problem. So another question is vaping safer than smoking? Okay, is one cancer better than another cancer? I mean,
I would say no.
how do you answer a question like that?
Yeah.
It's not better or worse. You're still getting addicted to the nicotine, and also there are all these unknown metals.
That's what scares me the most, is the unknown. We just don't know. And we just don't know means we have to wait. And I'm not willing to risk my teenager's health for the next 10 years until we find out. And I mean, it's conjecture to say this is, but to think that we don't know is not a feeling I am comfortable with.
I'm really curious for all of you who are watching right now, have you had any, have you caught your kids vaping? Have you thought about your kids vaping? Have you discussed it with your kids yet? Even if they say, oh no, mom, oh no, dad, no, I would never do it. I still think it's essential that you have that conversation with them so that they understand that the health risk is real. The reality is, though, I don't know if they actually care. Right?
You know what? Everything with teenagers, I'm like, I feel like I care about so many things. And they care about things, but not to the degree we do.
They live for the now.
So then it is our job to care for them. And sometimes that means by saying, this is not okay. This cannot happen. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they're not doing the research, as you just pointed out. I don't know very many adults who would actually ask those questions. So I know for sure, and that's not to knock teenagers. I adore my kids. I actually prefer the teen years than the toddler years. But they aren't asking the questions that we are because they have other things that they're...
No, they hear that. What my daughter has said to me, it's safer than smoking.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's my response was, is one cancer better than another cancer? That's the thing that the kid, they don't have the foresight. They live in the moment. Yeah. And I also think that I'm going to sort of put it not on the schools, but I think that parents need to work with the schools because a lot of this is happening not in our homes, but in the school scenario.
I told you about an article I read, and I believe we're going to link to it in the comments. I believe it was in the Toronto Star, so I'll just ask you to verify that by looking at the article in the comments, that within a school board, the one my children happen to attend, they are collecting vapes by the garbage bag full.
Literally
okay? Now, we
garbage
talked
bag
about how small they are. So it's not like 3 vapes will fill a garbage bag. That is hundreds of vapes. There's only 1,000 kids in the school. So one thing with working with the schools that I love is there is a program that is available, and we'll put links in the comments here. There is some microfunding available. There are grants available of up to $1,000 that you can use, you can apply for, and then the funds are to be used to educate. So I'm just thinking off the cuff, I'm thinking these would be great for student parent councils who want some funding to do programs in the school. They would be great for teachers. They would be great for people who are involved in community centers to be looking at. But this microfunding of up to $1,000 can go a long way. You can hire a speaker, you can make posters, you can host roundtables. I mean, get creative, and $1,000 can go a long, long way to talking to these kids where they are.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that parents sometimes feel like, well, what can I do? But the first thing you can do and should be doing is talking to your kids' school. So even after we have this conversation today, I would love for you to pick up your phone and call the principal or vice principal and ask them what are they doing to prevent or deal with vaping.
And also ask what you can do to help. Ask what can I do to help you in this endeavor?
I know one school, and I don't know if this is good, but it is great that they're doing something, is they're literally locking the bathrooms now.
Because my small bladder is like screeching inside, but I understand why they did it. I'm just thinking personally, oh man, but it's a shame that this is what it's come to.
Yeah, but it's good that school is doing it.
Right,
I know that
because it's happening in the bathrooms.
In my daughter's school, they have a knapsack, drop and roll.
You have
to, and they go through the knapsacks. Yeah. They're allowed, but then they hide them in their sleeves.
It's like you said, a flash drive or a lipstick. They're very easily concealed. So
So I think what's really important is that parents understand, like us, that we can do something. We need to have conversations with our kids. And may I just make a little recommendation? Get in the car, drive somewhere,
lock those doors,
and don't look at your kids and go, hey, by the way. Or if you see a poster for vaping, say, what's up with vaping?
Use it as a catalyst.
Yeah, and just talk about it generally. Don't ask them if they're vaping. Don't put them on the spot and say, I just saw this interesting Facebook Live with the amazing Ehm and Jeni Marinucci. And I heard that there is a range of nicotine. Do you think that your friends know about that? Do you understand that some kids, there's 12% nicotine, that you can get really physically ill from it. Kids get really high on it. Some kids keep on upping the nicotine because they want to get that dizzy feeling in their heads. Like, have that conversation
and then come to the teen group. There's some, I've seen
the YMC teen group.
There's been great conversation there, and it's a safe place. So when you do come to the teen group, you have to request permission.
Private.
It's private.
And I'm the person who lets you in.
Erica will get the notice.
So,
Erica will get the notice. She approves the members, and then you're able to have conversations about things like vaping in a safer area because it's not out in the wide open, because it's hard parenting teenagers. I mean, that sounds so cliche, but you want to honor their privacy, but you also want to share your stories to help other people.
So here's something that I can tell you. Are you following your kids on Instagram? So I can't name names, but a friend of a friend was watching Instagram and saw their kid vaping on Instagram and texted the parent and said, oh my God, I see your child vaping. And the parent went up to the room and the kid went,
caught. Busted.
I mean, they're so stupid. They're vaping live. Instagram, though, is insidious, and I will tell you why. First of all, there are people who I'm going to go on a limb and say that they're being paid. I think that they may be influencers who do vaping tricks. So, when you were younger and you used to blow smoke rings, so there is a whole sort of culture of cool party tricks to do with the vape, with the vaporizer, different ways of blowing out the steam, of sticking it up your nose, and so the kids, the teens, put that on their stories, on their Instagram stories, or sometimes on their actual feed. It's private, except when you follow your kids, because you're a smart parent and you said, I need to follow you on Instagram. So you need to have those conversations, or at least look online for vaping And
definitely
Instagram.
follow that. Well, the vaping info hashtag will at least assure you of getting the conversations where the real information exists.
Yeah.
If you need to educate yourself.
But you also need to go sort of in, let's call it the dark web or something, where you need to see where your kids are hanging out and understand what their impressionable eyes are seeing.
Yeah, I think we need to be aware of what I think in order to talk to them in a way that doesn't feel like we're lecturing, because that doesn't work. You need to know what you're talking about. So go to hashtag vaping info, get the proper information so you can share that, but also understand the things that they are seeing. Exactly. Understand what they are facing, because as much as I would love to be 18 again, well, in some ways.
No,
there are many
not
ways
me.
where it's like today, it's a different world today, so.
And to all the parents who are struggling, like Jenny and I are, playing whack-a-mole with our teens' brains and their impulses, our hearts go out to you. And please join the YMC teen group so we can continue this conversation privately. So
and we'll post this video there. So in a few hours, this video will be live.
Oh, I think it's
already
live
now on our main page.
We're having private conversations there now.
Yeah. But we'll also share the information.
So,
you can go over and have a look.
Yeah. So I hope this was helpful. I want to really thank the Healthy Canadians for inviting us to have this conversation. I'm so happy that
we should give a shout out to your post too. The link will be in the comments.
Yes.
You wrote a great post about it.
I did. Well, because
and it's got some really good links in it if you're looking for a start to that information.
It's been. I'm just going to say to you, without crying, it's been really hard for me.
I know.
So
I know.
I'm going to just wrap it up, but it's been really hard.
Yeah, well, it's amazing parenting teenagers, but it is not without its challenges. Like my face, it's not without its challenges.
So we as parents need to keep that conversation going. And again, I want to thank Healthy Canadians for starting this conversation, and to all the parents who have shared their thoughts and their input. And let us continue this conversation, because this is a problem that is not going away anytime soon. So thanks very much for watching. Thank you, Jenny.
I was so nice to see you.
I almost cried. My God, I almost do that.